infamous story in the Bible where Belteshazzar, the king of Babylon, sees the fingers of a man's hands while he is having this banquet feast in his inner chambers of the palace. He sees the fingers of a man's hand, begins to write in the Aramaic language words that he does not understand. And therefore, he commands that some of the soothsayers, the magicians, and the astrologers of that time to try to give the interpretation of what is written on the plaster of the wall. He's frightened, he's alarmed, he's terrified to the point where his thoughts troubled him. His knees began to shake and quiver because it's very frightening to see uh, fingers of a man's hand to appear and to begin to write on the wall. The moral of that story is that uh, his judgment had finally come. This was a king who was lifted up in pride, and he praised the gods of the Babylonian system. He was a man that did not glorify God, even though God had blessed this man to be the ruler of a kingdom and to build the city of Babylon to a very high degree, palaces and extraordinary uh, things upon the wall, extraordinary things in the kingdom. So we have here this king who is literally astonished by the writing on the wall. So we have here today the handwriting on the wall. It's very much used as an expression today. It's almost become a slang over the centuries, simply meaning, do you see what God is telling you? Have you learned your lesson? The handwriting on the wall implies a open rebuke for the things in life that we are being challenged to, the things in life that we don't understand, the things that God is trying to teach us and to show us. However, we don't have that comprehension. We need an interpreter, which was none other in the Bible, a Hebrew boy by the name of Daniel. What is God saying to you today? What is the handwriting written on the wall for you today? Because God is still writing on walls, not plaster walls, but the walls of our heart. He's trying to communicate a message to us. He's trying to teach us a lesson in life. He's trying to tell us something. Other people may see it. A lot of times people see the handwriting on the wall before you see it. But there's an awakening that takes place after the handwriting on the wall is interpreted, after it has been revealed. You begin to see the lesson of life. It could be anything. It could be your marriage. It could be a divorce. It could be a relationship. It could be a business aspect. It could be something in your college education or whatever it may be. You must see the handwriting on the wall. And I believe God is still writing on the walls of people's hearts today. I believe in 2026, we're going to see a lot of people uh, seeing this handwriting on the wall. They're going to hear from God in a very extraordinary way, a very powerful way. It's interesting how sometimes God can speak to us and we don't comprehend. It's blurred. It's only a part of a whole, as the Apostle Paul once said. We prophesy in part. In other words, that word that came to him was a prophetic word that the kingdom of Babylon will be totally destroyed by the overthrow of Cyrus. What is God saying today? What is God speaking to your heart today? What is the handwriting written on the wall for you today? We must come to understand that, yes, God still speaks. He speaks very plainly. Sometimes he speaks in dark sayings and parables, as Jesus demonstrated in the Gospels. Nevertheless, we're called, and it's our responsibility to seek the Lord to find the understanding and the meaning of the handwriting on the wall. It's our responsibility as Christian believers to seek the Lord while he may be found, to find out the interpretation. You notice the scripture says that The Spirit of the Holy God was in Daniel to interpret the meaning of the handwriting on the wall. Therefore, God must give the interpretation, not man. The Spirit of God is the one who reveals to us the deep things of God, and he reveals to us the hidden mysteries of God. He reveals them to us. Therefore, we must make it our aim to find the significance and the meaning of the handwriting on the wall. You know, we're in a time in this season where people are getting ready for the holidays, and they're frantically purchasing gifts and buying toys for the family, and they're doing their Christmas shopping and getting ready for the new year to come in. And we're actually in the season of giving. It's a biblical principle. Much confusion is going around on the internet, these social media platforms, as to whether Christians should or should not participate in these holidays. That's a matter of conscience, I believe, as Paul said. Nevertheless, most of the people here in America, culturally, we celebrate the holidays. We do. We honor God through our giving and by fellowshipping with believers and unbelievers to form relationships. Therefore, this Christmas season and this holiday season that we're approaching, always glorify and honor God through it. And always remember that the handwriting of the wall is still being written. It's still, he's still writing on our hearts today. He's still communicating to us today. He still speaks as he did in those days of old. He still communicates. He still gives revelation and a prophetic word to encourage us, to comfort us, to edify us, so that we can continue walking by faith. I want to challenge you today. If God is writing on the walls of your heart and you feel as though God is speaking to you, but yet you quite don't understand it, the handwriting on the wall is blurry. It was hidden from the king. The words were closed from the king. And even Daniel had portions of revelations where he could not understand concerning the future and the prophetic events that I believe we're living in today. They were closed. In fact, the angel said, seal the book until the time, until the end. So God has a way of communicating to us in ways that we don't understand. Even though the handwriting on the wall was written in the Aramaic language, and the Babylonians, they knew the Aramaic language. That was the language that they spoke in that land and in that time. Yet they did not understand what was written on the wall. Therefore, they came under too severe judgment from God's hand, and that kingdom was overthrown. And finally, I want to say this. I want to challenge you again to be able to find out the meaning of what God is saying to you. Find out the significance of the handwriting that is written upon your heart and what God is saying to you in these last days. God bless you.